I'm known as Mr. Gina Oster, is what I'm known
Gina's
as.
helper.
See you in your
My husband, Stanton, is passing out some handouts that I just kind of wanted you guys to have, and then we'll kind of go over it, but I don't want to take a whole lot of time. I am Gina Oster. I'm the District Commissioner for District 3. If you're not aware where that is, it's Cedar Bluff, Amherst, Ball Camp, and Bearden Middle area, so we have a big district. I am chair. It's my second year, and Vice Chair Frazier is second year also, so she keeps it all together too. Just a little bit about myself. Been in Knoxville all my life. Grew up in Ball Camp and Carnes area, and we raised our boys in Cedar Bluff, and then they went to Carnes. They all live here. We have 3 grown sons. They're all married. The most important thing is we have 2 grandchildren. So the boys had their time, but now it's all about the grandkids.
I thought there's only a granddaughter.
We have 2. We have Savannah and Stanton. So I've been involved publicly in our community since I was 20. Been obviously registered to vote at 18, been a Republican my entire life, and started working with elected officials on the local, the state, federal level, probably more than I can count, but learned a lot from my district commissioner at the time was Frank Loophole. I don't know if any of you know Frank, but he was kind of salt of the earth guy, and he was really concerned about his district and his constituents, and really showed me how to be a representative for the people. So I appreciated that. I started with the schools. My first year before our oldest son went to school, I did Kid Vote. So we taught kids how to educate themselves on getting elections and who to vote for, and they got to pick, and it was just a great experience. My second year, the first year he was there, I got asked to be the legislative chair of the PTA at Cedar Bluff that had gone kind of by the wayside for years. So I committed to putting a committee together, and we had a lot of problems for ones that may have not been here for a long time. Cedar Bluff Elementary School, that used to be the primary school, and then the intermediate school was there with preschool. It was a temporary building that had been there for 35 years, so the bathrooms were closed down about 2 or 3 times a week because of plumbing, and we didn't have a cafeteria and the whole thing. So we started kind of fighting for a new school, and at that time, Brian Hornback was our school board member, so he got a lot of the fussing at him. And but I hosted walkthroughs every month with our county commissioners, our school board, our superintendent, Tim Burchett, Steve Buttrey, and just showing them that this was a problem, that Cedar Bluff was a problem, and our kids at Cedar Bluff deserve more. We finally have a new school over there. My kids didn't get to experience it, but my constituents' kids get to experience it, and that's what's important. From there, sat on quite a bit of boards throughout Knox County. So I've been donating a lot of my time to the schools and to the county. So when Randy Smith was done, he was term limited, they asked if I would run, and it just kind of felt like a natural fit to be in my community, kind of boots on the ground, and that kind of stuff. So I got a little bit thrown into it. 2 months after the election, we got a tornado, if y'all remember the 2022. We don't get training on emergency management and on utilities. So it was a learn as you go. And I'm very grateful to Commissioner Frazier because she was right out there with me. We were collecting water for people who have been displaced, gift cards for our constituents, tarps, buckets. I worked with LCUV closely. It was a rough time for my district and for my constituents, but I learned probably more than I would have ever learned had we not had that experience. So I feel blessed to have the experience. I just wish it hadn't come that way. 2 things really quick. I've given you the Knox County update. This is tools and tips. If you see pothole, if you see something that you want to report, you have links here that you can do that. I think that's always important to kind of have that handy. And then we are getting ready to start our UDO program, which is part of our advanced Knox. So our advanced Knox was our land use, and now our UDO is where we get into the meat of it. So that's for the zoning part. So everybody needs to be as active as you can. And if you look on the second page of the handout, we've got the advanced Knox, and we've got the times for the meetings that's been set up so far. If you can't make it in person, we have a Zoom, so you can get on, you can put your opinions in there, you can reach out to your commissioners, let them know your thoughts and your opinions about zoning and that kind of stuff. Really, the more people that are involved, the better. It helps commission and it helps our staff in planning to kind of know what we're all thinking. To go back to the storm, the cleanup and the tornado, it was the first time that Knox County had ever done a cleanup for a district after a tornado or a major storm. I worked with Mayor Jacobs, with Jim Snowden and Chris Caldwell, and we were able to provide my district $400,000 worth of cleanup that saved my constituents thousands and thousands of dollars. They were really in a bad situation, some of them, because the insurance companies, some of them were saying if your roof was so old, then we're not gonna cover taking the trees off, and it became such a huge expense and such a major issue for my people. So I felt like that was what we could do, and that was important. If you haven't been down Cedar Bluff Road in a while, it's repaved, restriped, and we added a new turn lane, which I know that Walgreens and Aubrey's is very happy about, because everybody cut through there to turn left. Fox Lonis and Walker Springs has been repaved. Briar Glen subdivision, which is off of Ebenezer, they had not been repaved for 25 years. So right after I got on commission, they reached out to me, told me the situation. I came over, looked at it. The developer 25 years ago, and obviously we had a few different standards in the county at that time, he left without putting the second layer of asphalt down. So you can imagine after 25 years of what their roads were going through. So a few months later, we got them on the list, and in the spring, we got them repaved. So they were extremely happy about that. Same in Pheasants Glen. I've hosted 11 community meetings throughout my district. So if we've got a development going on, we had Andy's Frozen Custard. If you've been over to Cedar Bluff, you know Andy's. You might be a little bit more familiar with it up here at Bearden, but 3 businesses tried to go in that location. And I worked with Tom Gass and Noel, who are amazing people, and we had a huge 2 community meetings about it. They answered all the questions, and now it feels like Andy's has always been at Cedar Bluff. They are good to our district, they're good to our schools and our swim team, and so we appreciate having them there. Not sure if you guys remember driving down Cedar Bluff at any period of time, and All Saints after a big rain would be flooded out front. That no longer happens because we have all the water mitigation for Dutchtown in the tune of about $6 million that has been spent. And that is hugely important to not only Cedar Bluff, but also to Dutchtown residents. Their yards were flooding, but their homes were also flooding, and so they were losing value, and we were obviously having mold issues and stuff. So we were able to get that fixed. I'm not gonna go through all of them, just some that are really kind of top of my agenda was definitely Ebenezer Road replacement, the bridge. So if you go down Ebenezer Road from Kingston Pike, there's that bridge right there at Double Dogs, floods all the time. So we got involved with the state doing a grant, and it's gonna cost us $400,000, but the state's paying $500. And out of the entire state, Ebenezer Bridge was one of the worst in the state. So that's something that we have been working on. It's been, my constituents are very happy about that. We've had stormwater drainage repairs that we have done. We've stabilized a creek bed that was overflowing over on Lovell Road and Plum Creek. We just got approved, commission just approved it last month at Bakertown and Joe Hinton. I don't know if any of you go down Joe Hinton, but if you come to the Joe Hinton and Bakertown, it is a 90-degree turn, and it is about like that. We have more wrecks there, all kinds of issues. Been working on that since I got on, and it is finally approved. We bought that property. We're gonna be able to straighten out that curve. We're gonna repave, restripe, rumble strips, reflectors down, and all new signage on Joe Hinton, and it's $1 million. So that was huge. In District 3, we have had, by the time 2026 ends, we will have paved 12.11 miles of road, which is a big deal. Since 2008, there has not been a large, significant project done in District 3. Since 2022, we're upward of over $7 million. So this job is full-time. It is constant. It is answering phone calls nonstop until 10 o'clock at night if I have to. But it is to get this district where we want it. And my goal was to leave it in better shape than I found it. And I'm halfway there, not quite there. I did want to add, this was kind of a big deal, and I didn't put it on this sheet because it didn't get approved until tonight. It's actually approved tonight. Cedar Bluff Elementary School has got their playground, and it's kind of in a dust bowl. It's the best way to describe it. There's no shade. When it rains, it just floods in there. The poor kids come out looking like Linus all the time, and you know, the little guy that's always dirty. And so the Pigpen, that's it. They come out looking like Pigpen, bless their hearts, because this dust is everywhere. The teachers are full of dust. So the principal called me, and she said, this is what we're looking at, and it's a lot of money, and we've got to raise this money because obviously the schools don't do this kind of stuff. And do you have any connections? And so I did, and I reached out to Steve Maddox with Maddox Properties, and within about 2 weeks, Steve had called me to let me know that he was for sure he had secured turf for the playground, and a week later he called back and said, we've got the turf and we've got the shade. So that got approved tonight at the school board. So that was $95,000 worth of turf that's going down at Cedar Bluff Elementary School. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for our kids. It's a big deal for our teachers. And they're also adding an outdoor classroom there. So that's going to be kind of cool to be able to kind of do everything out there, and now it's not going to be so dirty and yucky. One other thing, Crestwood Hills, not sure if you all know Crestwood Hills area. It's a very large neighborhood. You can get into it about 4 different ways. That neighborhood is probably 50 years old, 50, 60 years old. And when I got elected, I noticed that one of our large roads in Crestwood Hills didn't have a fire hydrant. And that's a problem when you've got to bring in now tanker trucks on top of, so it's costing more money, it's costing more in your insurance and that kind of stuff. So I went to West Knox Utility last year. Commissioner Frazier joined me and Elaine Davis, and we talked to West Knox, we talked to the board, and 2 weeks ago the board approved a new fire hydrant to be put on a road that now is going to be able to service 3 large roads in Crestwood Hills that haven't been there before, to the tune of about $100,000, and it's not going to cost the taxpayers extra because that was in their fund to be able to do. So I feel like we've gotten a lot accomplished. I feel like we still have a lot to do. My district is definitely an aging district as far as infrastructure. Our houses over there are 50, 60 years old. So I am running again. I want to finish what I started, and I've got the connections. I've got a great working relationship with my utilities, with my staff in Knox County, and it's just something that is a passion to me. My people call me when there's a dead skunk in front of their driveway, all the way down to their yards flooding, and now we're gonna be able to fix a problem that a neighbor's had for 30 years. That water has been literally up to here on her deck, and we figured out that the pipe that was put in 40 years ago is too small, and now we're getting ready to be able to do that. For me, I get chills because that's a big deal to me. We are making a difference in people's lives. They pay their taxes, and I want to be able to do the best job that I can do for them as their commissioner. So, anyways, that's it. I'm not going to keep you and babble on. You don't want to hear that. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, can you just clarify this on this clip that it says it's an app? Like, is it an app like on Google Play and whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can
Is
get it.
under Knox County, or just click this?
Yeah. You can do it on the App Store for the Knox County.
Knox County,
Mhm.
okay.
Yep.
All right.
I'm sorry if that didn't make any sense on that, but it is good. If you find a pothole in my district, definitely let me know. Cause I kind of pride myself on the road district commissioner, sign commissioner. I'm going to make signs tomorrow actually because I'm the one who causes them the most work. I don't like my signs looking bad. I don't like them peeling. I don't like them falling over. I don't like them missing. So we replace those, and then potholes automatically because you already pay your taxes. I don't want you to have to go replace a tire or a rim or something else in my district. So we stay kind of on top of that.
Talk about Schaefer Road and the Roberto family.
Oh, thank you. Not sure if you all heard a couple of years ago, Councilman Andrew Roberto lost his daughter over on Schaefer Road in a tragic accident. And Schaefer Road's kind of one of our, windy roads. And we had some things that we could do to it. Sarah Roberto, Kylie's stepmom, reached out to me, and we met at Starbucks and sat down, and she said, I just don't want Kylie's death to be in vain. And if we can do any safety measures on that road, would you work with me? And that was an automatic yes. So that day I contacted Jim Snowden, with our director of engineering, and we started the process. So we added more rumble strips, we added more reflectors, we added more signage, we took down a lot of brush that was around in that area, flashing signs, flashing lights, and it was what we could do. It's a collector road. You can't put, speed humps on it, which would be great to slow everybody down. But we did all the measures on Schaefer that we could do. And it wasn't just for that family. It was for anybody that comes around that road in the dark. And now they've got the reflectors that just light that area up. So, yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Ryan. That was kind of a tough one, but that kind of stuff is really important to me, and kind of keeps me up at night of what else we need to do and where we can add value to the roads, to the neighborhoods, and to the constituents' lives, and kind of feel like that's my job as the commissioner. So.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Well, maybe not so quick. So the Advanced Knox Plan, Comprehensive Land Use Plan, was a bit complex for many of your constituents. The question is, how simplified is explaining to them the parts of the UDO? How simple is that going to be? Because they're telling me they're not gonna come if it's going to be like it was before. In other words, they want to be able to understand what it is, what it means, and when it's going to happen. I don't know if you have that timeline in mind, but it's for both you and Kim.
Yeah, sure. So we learned a lot through the Comprehensive Land Use and Transportation Plan. And we realized that a lot of that information is very technical. It's very complex. There are tons of layers when it comes to land use and planning. So we took what we learned, and we are going to try to make it a little bit simpler. I don't know if anyone was around when we had separate plans. They did a lot of community open forum meetings, and we're going to try to model them a little bit more out of that. And so you will come in, you will be greeted, there will be staff members there. They will walk you through the process. We will get a little bit more granular because what the Unified Development Ordinance is, we are now taking all of our zoning ordinances, our subdivision regs, our stormwater management systems, our fire codes, our street standards, and all of our development and design standards, and we're rolling it into one comprehensive development ordinance. Right now, they're all different, and so when someone requests to rezone a piece of property, there's a lot of things we have to reference, and so we're hoping that this will simplify things, one, for the staff, and two, for constituents, because that was one of my biggest complaints coming into it. I spent over 10 years going out into communities and helping people advocate and understand their local process when it came to land use. And I just kept saying, this is so complicated, it's so hard for a constituent to have 30, 45 days and then come in and try to argue their point or oppose and explain to them why they want to preserve the character of their community. And there's no real way to do that. And so we learned from that, and I do hope that this process is simpler. It's still going to be complicated because, as I mentioned to you all of those pieces of the puzzle have to be considered. And so we're trying to set it up where we give you an opportunity to kind of be very open and tell us what you'd like to see. You know, one thing that I hear quite a bit is I don't like to see higher density where there is not supportive infrastructure. We all agree that there are more appropriate areas for higher density and lower density. That could be something that you come in with and you say, this is important to me and here's why. You may want developments that have 10% green space, open space. You know, we've gotten away from having those larger lot developments, and that might be something that's important to you. Those are all things that we need to hear from you, because then we will take it back and technically figure that out based on like lot sizes and square footage and setbacks and side setbacks and rear setbacks. So don't feel like you have to come in and know a lot about zoning and land use. We just need to hear from you.
And
We
it
really
helps.
need to hear from you.
In this
Two
county,
things,
everybody's.
this is for all of Knox County?
All of Knox
All of
County.
Knox.
And where do we find the information about it?
On your handout, did you get a handout?
Yeah.
On your handout, you've got, on the second page, it's the UDO, and there's some of the meetings that's already scheduled down there for you. And then also you can do virtual Zoom too. And then, you know, like I say, reach out to your commissioner, email your commissioner too and say, hey, I missed the Zoom or I missed this meeting, but this is important to me, and it helps kind of us communicate all of that. I don't, you know, it's not gonna be totally simplified. This is a big county. We haven't had zoning regs and we haven't had this in over 30 years, so we are really trying to start from scratch. Sometimes Knox County has been in the business of kind of kicking something down the road for a little while, and then when it gets to a certain point, you've got to deal with it, and that's where we have been with the advanced Knox and the UDO, so.
And that's the first round of public meetings. So what will happen is we will gather a lot of information from these public meetings from you all. And it will go back to our leadership team. We have several different committees. We even pushed really hard to get a citizen advisory committee meeting. And we took applications and people were selected for that. But what we will do then is come back to you again, probably next February, March, with kind of a draft. And you will get to redline it. You will get the red pen and you will get to tell us what you like about it and what you don't, and where you would like to see changes. So this is not your only opportunity to provide input. And like Gina said, to reach out to us. You know, you can email us anytime, call us if you've got ideas or if you want us to come to you. I mean, I do that quite a bit, going out and just to community groups, HOA groups, and just sitting down and kind of talking about the nuts and bolts of this, and I'm happy to do that. I know Gina's happy to do that.
And what I like
we're
to
here for
say
you.
is our UDO and our advanced Knox, it's a living, breathing document. So if there's something that we have found, and we have found that since advanced Knox, and we will get some zonings and we're kind of like, that looked good on paper, but it's not. And so we do tell people it is a living, breathing document that we can kind of move and shift things a little bit. And I think that's important too.
So when does it get final approval? It's next year sometime?
Next year.
Yeah.
It'll be next
We
summer.
don't have
Yeah.
a date, so it's
Yeah,
summer?
next summer.
Yeah, next summer.
Do these zonings include schools?
School
Is it
zone.
includes
School zones.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's every zoning
Yeah,
that.
it's
that we
every
have.
zoning. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Will these meetings be taped so you can watch them later if you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
make it, you can?
I don't think they did the UDOs last year, but it might be something that, I'm not sure how they would.
And it's just because we don't have the technology to do that, since we're using the schools as the host locations for the public meetings. I mean, anybody's welcome to come in with a,
Yeah.
you know, handheld if they want and record anything.
I don't know what you're talking about, Debbie. Just shut up, Debbie. Shut up, Debbie.
You know he'll be there doing it, for sure.
My schedule's already full, Debbie.
Okay, good, thank you.
If nobody has any other questions, thank you all for having
Wait,
me.
Martin's got some.
So Gina, after the Eddie Manis fiasco, a lot of conservatives rallied around you to help you win a pretty narrow victory in your first run for county commission. And I was just wondering what you've done on the county commission that would convince conservatives to vote for you this time.
I think my record speaks for itself on the work that I've done in my district. My constituents have been very happy with the work that I do. Like I say, they know that they can call me for anything. That's never really happened for a commissioner before, that people call you directly and realize that you will take care of their problems. And that's really what my district wants me to do. They want to make sure that if they call me for a skunk in the road to, you know, their backyard is flooding and everything in between, that, I think that is exactly what I hear from my district. I can tell you that I probably am in contact with my constituents. There's not a week that I'm probably not on the phone with 10 to 15 constituents, that I'm taking care of their needs immediately.
Can
So-
I address this question? I think early on, not a lot of people knew what Gina was about and her abilities to serve her district. And so, you know, as she got in there, got elected, I think everybody's seen it now. But when you're early and you're new to the table, I mean, everybody has some kind of reservations.
And I think Debbie can probably speak to that, cause she lives in my district. So she sees on a weekly basis what I'm reporting, what I'm doing. I drive my district twice a month. I don't know if everybody does that, but do I feel like that that's my job to do, to make sure that I see what's out there, what needs to be taken care of? I sure do. And that's what I do, so.
As the chair of the county, how have you contributed to the conservatives there
Well,
of your voting record?
I vote with Republicans 99% of the
Not all the
time.
time.
Not all the time. You wanna
just
talk
put a
about
Democrat on some kind of committee the other day.
on rules, and rules, anybody
Why?
can be
Why
on.
did you put a Democrat?
If you'd like to know, I'll be happy to, but I'm not gonna get a yelling match.
I'm not getting a yell match.
Okay.
That's just my voice.
I have to be able to trust somebody that I vote for.
You couldn't trust Fox?
No.
Why?
He sat on the rules committee last year, and he broke one of the rules.
But he was a conservative Republican.
Okay, but
We
if you
didn't put
break
you
the
there
rules,
to put a Democrat in
if you
there.
break the rules and you are a Republican, what is any different than putting a Democrat on there?
Do you make it in the meetings?
He missed meetings.
This
He
is a
broke the
conservative
rule.
Republican
That's
club.
fine, and I understand that. But the Rules Committee doesn't make legislation, the Rules Committee makes rules for the commission. And you don't wanna hear it, and that's fine,
I
I
have
get
put
that.
you in there, Gina, and I will not vote for you again.
Well,
And I will
that's
do
fine,
everything I can for you not to get in.
that's kind of a shame, considering you don't live in my district, and my constituents
know
wouldn't
people
get that
in your
kind of,
district.
yeah, but they won't get the kind of help that they've been getting since
I'm
years.
fine. I'm fine.
Yeah, can I just say something, because I did drive for you. What year was that, 2022?
Yeah.
It was when the gas was really expensive, I just remember that, it was like a crazy time. But, I mean, I have to say, I went to, one of the county council meetings, and I was very disturbed by your behavior towards other Republicans. Democrats do not attack other Democrats out in public, and I was appalled. I thought it was like Mean Girls. It was shocking to me, and you know, you didn't win by a big margin. It sounds like you're doing great work, but you've got to be more unified with the other Republicans and not trash them. I mean, it was embarrassing. I was horrified.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. If you want to be specific, I'm happy
Sure,
to.
it was, the meeting with the pornography and the, these people were just going on and on with all these speakers and stuff, and you were super rude to Rhonda Lee, and then Jay Larson's like, well, saying this trashy stuff, because she's a public defender, like trying to imply that she defends, child molesters or something.
I mean, I didn't
Well,
speak for
I'm
Larson
just-
J.
Well, I'm just saying, I saw your behavior, and I was, it just felt like mean girls towards Rhonda, towards Ann Fox, and, Democrats don't do that. You need to look like you're unified with the Republicans and keep your, it's so obvious you do not like Rhonda and you do not like Andy. And
I had nothing to do with it.
well, it's what, I'm just telling you, that's how it came across, and I was appalled. Because I expect when I vote and I drive for somebody, I didn't vote for you, I just, I don't live in your district, but I drove for you, right? Because I look at it, it doesn't matter, you're voting for me, no matter what district you're in, right? I mean, that's the bottom line, so I'll just drive for whoever needs to be driven, and I was really shocked.
I've been shocked
disappointed.
I've been shocked with other commissioners that post on social media about their coworkers that I don't know. And we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
And
well,
leadership in the Republican Party that post memes of mean girls and that kind of stuff. Never one time has Martin called me, never one time has Kyle called me, never one time has Susie called me, never one time has anybody called me to talk to me. But
Wait a minute, you just said something about people posting stuff about mean girls, and then you mentioned my name, so show me where that is. 'Cause
it
I'm
keeps
not
getting
done it.
reposted on Knoxville Conservative Group, but, and
I've
I'm not
never-
saying that
I've
you
never-
did it, but
I've
you
never-
don't reach out to me and ask me what my issue was with Andy privately.
Tell us what your issue is.
I just told you.
Yes, if
So
I.
what rule did he break?
He was supposed to go to the rules committee, and, I think it was he wanted, there were two of them. He circumvented going to the rules committee and brought a resolution last month. And the law department reached out to him and said this was supposed to go to the rules committee before you bring it to full commission as a resolution. He chose not to do that and put it up. If you're gonna sit on the rules committee, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, you've got to follow the rules. And
How did it get up? If you're the chair, how did it get on the agenda?
a commissioner can put anything, I'm not stopping anybody from putting anything on, but when the law department tells you, this is circumventing the rules committee.
I'm not gonna get started on the law department.
Well,
Got
I mean,
problems
you
there
can
anyway,
agree and
but-
disagree, and I agree and disagree
Yeah.
with them also, but I'm saying it had nothing to do with, I have to vote for somebody in that position that I can trust and that hasn't circumvented the rules. And that's where I stood, and I have never passed on one vote in 3 years. Nobody elected me to pass, and I will stand up and I will take the questions and I'll take the getting mad at me. But that's just a simple fact. But I'm also not gonna air it out all over social media and take care of it. If you wanna call me, Martin, you have my personal number, and you know that.
Yeah.
So that's been, that's the issue.
Well,
that I
this-
have.
I guess what I would say, Gina, is that what you're doing is in public,
In public.
but
in a
you
meeting.
want to respond in private. So like keeping Rhonda Lee off the juvenile detention center board. I don't understand that move either, for a Republican, to keep a Republican who's the most qualified person on a county commission to be on that board, to keep them off. And I know there was this whole thing about, well, we think it's some kind of ethical problem, but the Mike Moyers sat there and said it is not an ethical problem, and you did it anyway. And thankfully, Judge Irwin took care of that and put her on there anyway, because she should have been on there from the beginning. But there's just this disturbing trend, you voted for Democrat Courtney Drake to be the Knox County Commission chair.
Which you were very happy about, Martin.
I wasn't
No,
happy with Courtney
I'm not gonna
Grant
stand here
being
and
the
take
chair.
that. You were happy
I was
about
happy
it.
Larson J wasn't the chair.
Correct, and that's
That's true.
exactly what you were happy about.
Well,
And there again, I had to vote for somebody that I could trust. And there was very few Republicans that came up to me and was not happy that Larson J was not chair again. And every one of you know it. So, I'm not gonna I won't fall on the sword for that one.
okay.
Does anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, I'd like to, I'm gonna form a statement instead of a question if I could, Chairwoman, if that's all right.
That's fine.
I have a long history of supporting great conservative candidates and people that get elected to office. Elise Stefanik, I don't know if you've ever heard of her.
Yeah.
Yep. We were the first family when nobody thought she had a chance to win to endorse her. She came to our house and my 8 and 10-year-olds grilled her for 4 hours. I can't make this up. She's like, I gotta ask questions from your 8-year-old and 10-year-old? I go, yeah, the 10-year-old's gonna be easy. It's the 8-year-old. What's his name, Brian Hornback?
Reagan Biddle, baby.
Reagan Biddle. 4 hours she was there. We're proud, and I'm still proud to be an advisor to Chairwoman Elise Stefanik, and she is doing a great job. Lee Zeldin, who ran for governor in New York, who is now EPA administrator, great conservative. I only support conservative candidates. I supported Andy Fox, and I will continue to support him. I love him to death. I've given him money, I've given him time. The same with my own District 5, Angela Russell, who I meet with on a regular basis, you know that. And I support her both with money and also with my time. And that won't change. Rhonda Lee, love her to death. We'll continue to support her. And I'm telling you right now, I'm supporting her right now in her reelection. But I'll tell you what, where I'm putting most of my time and most of my effort is for this young lady right here to be reelected, because I think she does the best job of any county commissioner that I've seen. And that's not cutting anybody down. I just lifted up every county commissioner that I mentioned, and they all do a great job. There are some differences, and there are some things that are not aired out in public, and I'm really proud of you that you don't air them out in public. And we as Republicans, I totally agree with you. We gotta stick together, because the Democrats don't. But it's on, and I do hold my tongue quite a bit at commission. I'm holding my tongue at commission meetings, because I'm seeing some of the behavior that happens there that really disappoints me. But I will tell you this. This young lady puts her heart and soul more into her job than anyone I've ever seen. And again, I'm still advising Elise Stefanik, and I'm putting her in that rarefied air of the chairwoman of the Congressional Caucus in the United States of America. And Gina, I am really proud to support you, and I ain't going anywhere, and I'm gonna stick right by your side to make sure you get reelected.
Okay. Well, thank you, Gina.
Thank you.
Is there another question?
Yeah, I have a quick question on the lighter side. I did vote for you, Gina, did support you, and did support this young lady here as well. What is your position on the Knox County Schools Welcome Center? I recently had a episode where I took a family from Sevierville with 5 children, and they weren't given any assistance because they were non-citizens. Unless they were non-citizens. They were U.S. citizens, born and raised here, but they won't even help.
They want to help the Americans, what you're saying?
Right, they won't help this family because they were citizens, not even with a referral. And so I was wondering, you're on the commission, so what is your position on that?
I'm not okay with that, obviously. However, commission has very limited scope on schools. We get to fund them, so we get to tell them what to do. And so I would suggest, I don't know who your school board member is.
That's Knox County?
Knox County is one.
I don't know who your school board member is. If you want to reach out to me, I'll let you know who it is. And I'm also happy to reach out to staff member at Knox County too and have them call you.
That might be something just for the commission to, I don't know, somehow eliminate just how little control you have legally, like, it really truly is, I mean, it's been it's just basically, work
Yeah.
over the money.
I think that we,
And
2002, there was an agreement. 2002, there was an agreement that was signed by the chancellor that ties commission's hands
Yeah, and, you know.
because they have to follow the state constitution.
Like, impossible.
and I do try to say, if you've got a school issue, please let me know who your school board member is. We'll get you, because they're elected officials, so we as elected officials can't tell the elected officials what to do, but we have no authority with the schools. However, if you're an active commissioner, you do have a good relationship with the school board member, and, you want to be able to have that open line of communication and talk to them, and also with staff, assistant superintendents and that kind of stuff. So, anytime that you have any of that, let me know.
And Monday night, your counterpart on the school board praised you for the $100,000 AstroTurf at Cedar Bluff Elementary.
She did. She's a Democrat. I don't want to bring that up. So, but she did, and it was very kind of her. I was watching it. I just happened to be watching. I don't usually watch school board because I'm usually someplace else. And I worked for the Republican candidate, Angie Gothert, but Pat Ridley did say that she appreciated the work that I did to get the turf and the work that I do in our district. So thank you for bringing that up, but like I say, I wasn't gonna bring that up, so.
Thank you.
But thank you all, I appreciate it.